GM everyone, and
GM.
welcome back to a weekly episode of We in Web3, a podcast about you, me, Zam, basically people who are creating this Web3 ecosystem and redesigning the digital realm, from early adopters to newcoming investors, influencers. As always, I'm your host, Nikita Tsikaliuk, and we're building this space by people for people. Today we have a very special, as you can see, New Year special episode with even more special guest of mine, a very good friend of mine coming from Paris, France, Benoit. And for those who still don't know, hey, for those who still don't know, Benoit is one of the biggest crypto art collectors, one of the biggest crypto art curators, and I would say one of the fathers of the Web3 journey, Web3 space back in Paris in French, together with people like John Carp, Agoria, Serac. So I'm really happy to have you today on my show, Benoit. How are you doing, my
Yeah,
friend?
hey, GM. Thank you for having me. I know we're going to spend almost an hour together, and it's really nice to have some time to speak because most of the time when I do podcasts, it's just a lot of people talking, and now I know I have time to talk with you, and it's very nice. I like it. I like that.
Exactly. The goal of today's episode is actually to recap the year 2020 in sense of crypto art, not only in general, but specifically about the French ecosystem, specifically about your
Yes.
life. Because as we were discussing with you before the podcast, you're running four different projects in one space that have one goal, but different visions. So I want to touch upon all of these projects. I want to
Yes.
give you a chance to speak about what fascinates you the most about this space. And I want to have this friendly discussion. So sit cozy, enjoy yourself. We're filming
Yes.
this episode a few days before the end of 2022. And I do believe it's a wonderful way for people when the episode will be live to start the new year 2023 to inspire from some of the best in the space and just enjoy our talk. So I'm
Thank
also
you.
happy that you're here today. So let's start with the most obvious question. It's just a few days before New Year is actually here. I assume that you are spending it with your beloved ones, with your family, with your friends. How was year 2020 specifically for you in Web3?
Yeah, it was an amazing year. So many things happened. Basically, I started. I mean, the most important project for the 2022 was NFT Factory. Uh, in fact, NFT Factory started in 2021, but it was just a few people gathering and imagining, trying to imagine how they could launch this project. We were only 6 or 7 people working on this project, and then we raised some funds, gathering 128 people, to finance the project, and then we opened a few months ago, and it was all throughout 2022 we were working hard to make this happen, visiting a lot of places in Paris because we wanted the perfect place, and it took almost 6 months to find the right place, and now we have it. And then we had to make some building work. We had to, so it was a lot of work, and now it's up and running. And I'm working as an art director in this place, and it's amazing. It's like I'm living my best life, I guess.
And you are. I'm extremely happy for you. I'm extremely happy for our friend John Carp also, who is
Yes,
leading the project. You're one of a few people who have been there from the very early days, and now it's a dream come true, as I can
yes.
assume. And we
And
should.
it's funny, Nikita, because in fact, when I started my journey in NFT and crypto art, it was late in 2018, and for several years, for maybe 2 3 years, I was really in the international space, and not really connected with the French space. And then it's really with NFT Factory that I became to connect with the French space, because a year and a half ago, it's John Carp and Jean-Michel Payon, who you know. who came to me and they said, Benoit, we know what we're doing, what you're doing with MoCA, and we want to create this place in Paris, and we would like you to join us. And I was, of course, it's exactly what I want. So I really thank John and Jean-Michel to trust me with this, and I was part of the first group of people who started that.
A smaller group, yeah. And just to
Yes.
give a sense to people who are some of other members of the community, Jean-Michel of Ledger, it's
Yes.
Sebastian Berger of Sandbox, it's
Yes.
John Karp, who you might know from NFC Lisbon, who just announced the second edition coming this June. So shout out to them. Some of the biggest people out there. And I mean, you have a lot of people from culture, like Vinny, for example, who is
Exactly.
around fashion, around music. You have Grida, who is another huge curator coming from Asia and being here based in Paris. So like all this 128 people, and later on, all additional members like me, members of NFT
Exactly.
Factory, those are extremely talented and versatile people who are complementing each other. So I'm really interested to learn more about your story joining NFT Factory, and we're gonna come back to it. But just to give you an outlook of how I see this space, that's definitely the biggest community, the biggest family that not only French but international family based in Paris. And actually, this year also is connected for me with NFT Factory, because earlier this June was the time when NFT Factory launched its NFT as a membership node, as a founders node.
Yes.
Later in July, we had the first gathering, still not in our main place, but still it was a good place to connect with people. And that's actually the time when I connected with you, the time when we became friends. And this October, NFT Factory also opened their physical place, and it's not just a physical place, but we're gonna also come back to it. But a sneak peek. It's located in center of in front of Centre Pompidou, which is basically the main art location for all the biggest exhibitions. Take, for example, Art Basel in Paris. Also, some part of it were happening in the center, and like hundreds of people per day were coming to see what you guys built out there. So we're gonna come back to this, but definitely year 2022 is not only for you associated with NFT Factory, it's also associated for me and for many hundreds of people, I believe. You mentioned that actually you started your journey in the whole Web3 space back in 2018. Can you remember what was it like to be a crypto art enthusiast, curator back in 2018? Because I had the same chat a couple of days ago with one of famous artists from London, Alexandra Ala, and we're discussing with her that back then it felt like it was bear market all the time. Nothing happened, nothing big was happening. People were not aware what is crypto, what are NFTs. So what was your experience back in 2018?
Yeah, I discovered everything through CryptoVoxels, the metaverse, because in fact it was the first NFT that I purchased, that I bought, was a land in CryptoVoxels. I was not aware at the time. I was working on Web3 for regulatory reasons, because I'm a lawyer and I was working with the French government on the regulatory framework for crypto. And so I, as part of this mission with the French government, I was trying to understand the whole space of Web3. And this is how I discovered NFTs. And the first NFT I discovered was Metaverse and CryptoVoxels. And at that time, I was not aware there was those artists, starting to work with NFTs. And I discovered that when I entered the Metaverse, visiting my place and visiting around me. And I discovered that there were artists that were already there. It was at the end of 18, and there were artists that were already there building their galleries and showing their art. And it was an amazing discovery for me, because I'm an art lover. I've always been an art lover. There are artists in my family. And I discovered that there was those artists, and I looked at the art and I was amazed by the art, the energy of the art. It was very different from what I was used to see in the museums, in the galleries, the contemporary art and everything. It was very different, very fresh. So I really loved the art, and I started to connect with artists, and I felt an amazing energy with the artists. They were really convinced that what they were doing was going to change the world. You know, they knew that what they were doing one day will become important. But it was so small at this time. You know, there
So
was like
true.
hundreds of artists, maybe a handful of collectors. And because I had a big plot, you know, in this, I said, okay, I love that, so I'm gonna build something, and I will call it a Museum of Crypto Art. And because I want to gather that, I want to support that, I love that. Of course, I didn't know it would completely, you know, explode a few years after that, but. And it was really a side project. I was, you know, doing this at night and on weekends and during lunch break, connecting with artists. And basically, at the very beginning, I was not really ready for the first maybe 2 3 weeks when I discovered that. I was not ready to buy art because for me, you know, buying JPEG or GIF, it made no sense. But I still like the art. So, and I had this place. So I start putting the art on the walls in the metaverse. And then the artists, uh, they were so happy that someone was interested in their work and passionate like I was. They gave me art. They gave me NFTs. They gave me artworks, you know, and I received the artworks on my wallet. And then I start receiving bids from people who were like jealous because I had some of the artworks. And this is when I understand that this was really something, you know, that the NFT had a value. So, and this is when I start to collect. But I really have to thank all the artists because they gave me the NFT, and it convinced me that it had value, because before I was not convinced, like everyone. Today, when you speak about this to someone, it takes time to, you know, understand that this can have value. And I had the same issue back in 2018. It took time for me to understand that it could have value. So
Because it's basically new technologies that no one, even right now, not that many people, what we're like 5 million, maybe 10 million people
yes,
altogether who understand the technology. And even among those people, a lot of people have questions whether I actually need to pay that much money
yes,
for this JPEGs or whatever. And I actually like your strategy of wearing your wallet and
yes,
having it all the time together with you, so that, I mean, if you have something interesting, just send it me here. I'm gonna take a look. Maybe we're gonna put it in NFT Factory next exhibition or
yes,
whatever, so just let me know. I really love your story. It's something that actually resembles me, the story of majority of crypto artists, curators coming early. I came to the space also around this time, back in 2017, but for me, the first couple of years, it was crypto. So nothing to do with crypto art, nothing to do with NFTs. So you were one of the first OGs, not only in the sense of building something, but in the sense of understanding the space. And even for you, it was confusing, which is totally
yes,
fine. What I've been doing while listening to you, your inspiring original stories, actually, I just went to your MoCA, Museum of Crypto Art, the project that was launched back in 2018. And I just went to MoCA's Voxel webpage just to walk around the museum, just to see what have you
yes,
built out there. Simple as that. All people need is two hands to go online, and they can
exactly.
already see what is built out there. And that's basically this metaverse thesis, metaverse narrative that we're going to
Yeah,
talk about as well. And that's also something that you're building out there. Let me know, what is your relation with crypto? Because you said that back in 2018 you were allowing people to send you their NFT, their crypto art to your wallet, meaning that you already had something prepared, you already had your wallet. Is it coming from crypto? Did you start exploring more crypto back in 2018 and you understood that Ethereum, Tezos, Solana, when they came later on, they're also somehow going to have a role in all this Web3 space, or you're still far away from being this crypto maxi or like
Yeah.
crypto enthusiast?
Yeah, in fact, everything started maybe in 2016 for me, and it was the discovery of Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fascinated by the ideology and philosophy behind Bitcoin. So when it was really something, I discovered by, browsing through the internet at night, and because I always go to bed very, very late, and I spend time browsing the internet because I'm very curious, and I discovered, I don't remember, maybe it was Andreas Antonopoulos' speech, about Bitcoin, and I listened to his speech, and I felt that something was interesting, and I start studying Bitcoin, reading a lot of things, looking at a lot of YouTube presentations and everything. And the more I read, the more I look at, the more I'm fascinated by Bitcoin. So I spend maybe 1 month, 2 months, you know, really many hours every day trying to understand Bitcoin, but not investing, because I'm really not kind of guy who invest and make trades. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just for the ideology. So I'm studying the cypherpunks, the history of crypto art, the history of Bitcoin, and everything, and then I create a Bitcoin wallet just to experience, like, and I buy maybe 200 euro of Bitcoin, and it was in 17 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I'm a lawyer and there is no regulatory framework, there's nothing about in the law about Bitcoin. I'm starting to investigate how I can, get connected with the authorities to understand how they are going to regulate this. And I'm starting working with people who created non-for-profit organization to do some lobbying, and I'm their official legal specialist in this non-for-profit organization. And in 18, the French government decides to create a regulatory framework, and I'm working with the French government. All of a sudden, I'm in the meetings at the French Ministry of Finance, discussing about Bitcoin with French officials at the Ministry of Finance. And this is when because I had to explain those public servants, high-level public servants. I have to explain what is blockchain and what is Bitcoin. So I need myself to investigate everything that's behind it. And this is how I discover Ethereum and the dApps. And this is why I create a wallet, because I want to experience myself, because I want to be able to explain to the people at the French Ministry of Finance. And this is how it started, basically.
I will never stop saying that curiosity is the strongest power that drives people to learn new things, to innovate the space. Because
Yes.
right now, if some of us are satisfied with what is happening in Web3, nothing great gonna happen in Web3. There is still a lot of rug pulls. There is still a lot of
Yeah.
unclarity around UX side of it, like friendliness of blockchain, friendliness of
Yes.
ledgers, etc.
Yes.
So the only way to make it great is to be curious what can be done else, like how should I innovate it. That's basically where you started your journey back in 2016, 2017, as you just mentioned. And that is the strongest motivation you might have in anything. So interesting question that just popped to my mind. Was it the same story for you when it came back like 20 years ago to Web 2 when this internet boom happened? Was it the same story, like you've been reading in newspapers that the internet gonna kill our kids, or this thing is never gonna work, etc., and you were about to prove that, nah, it's gonna work, or it was
Yes.
something different?
Yes, I was. I think I was always one of the first to experiment new things. It was always been
Mm-hmm.
like that. And in France, we had this concept of Minitel. It was the French internet before internet, and I was one of the first to have a Minitel and play with Minitel. I was 14 years old. Um, uh, yeah, but then I had my study, and then I had my work, and I had to make money, and so I was really absorbed by my job, basically. And So when you are working and trying to make a living, you don't have that much time aside on the side. And I had to build also my family. So maybe during the Web2 and phase, maybe I was curious, but I didn't have enough time to allocate to this curiosity. And now you know, I'm older. I have my family and my kids are grown, and my job is I mean, I'm quite settled in my job. So I think also I had more time. I had more time to invest in the subject that I like, you know. And this is why I could do this, because I could allocate some more time that I used to. So I think it's
I
also
love it.
a question of opportunity in your life. You know, sometimes in your life you are too busy building your family, trying to make a living, trying to prove your things in your job, and you don't have time to do anything else, even though you are curious. But here, yeah, I had this opportunity because it's a phase in my life where I had more time.
And there is a reason why you need to put extra time, specifically right now, learning about blockchain, about Web3, because if you've been in the space for the last 5, 6 years, don't understand what is happening there is no way your kids, your family, your friends gonna understand it later on, because
Yes.
you are so deep into this space, and there is still some things that we need to work on, some things that we need to change, adjust, and that's why we all are putting this time, this effort, this energy to make this space great, understandable by other people, enjoyable, and just to connect your past with your current situation. I have this specific question. What do you consider as the biggest change, positive change that happened to Web3 space, specifically crypto art, from back 2018 when you learned about it, and right now 2022, which I guess we might call as a bear market for both NFTs and
Yes.
crypto right
Yes.
now. But nevertheless, a lot of things, since we're going through the cycles, a lot of things are learned, a lot of things are changing. So what is the biggest things that you consider have changed since that
Yes.
time?
Yes. First of all, I want to say when I created MoCA and when I started building in Web3, and when I spent a lot of time, building in Web3, it was in 18, end of 18, and it was really a deep bear market also.
Mm-hmm.
And really, this is when the nice projects are built. It's during bear markets. So I guess the best project of tomorrow, they are built currently in the bear market, because the people who are building now are only the people who are strong believers. Because the people who don't really believe, they just left because they are because of the bear market. So this was my first thing. And what changed? What changed is, in 18 until 20, mid 20, and maybe even 21, it was really a communitary space.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone knows each other. We are all happy. We all like what we're doing. We are all convinced with crypto and the values and the ideology. And now, since it completely exploded with Beeple and Pack, a lot more people are into it, and it kind of dissolve, or the purity of all the concepts and the ideology, because now you start working with people who are not that convinced of the
Mm-hmm.
ideology and philosophy, and you have to deal with that. You have to accept that there are new people who join, and they have different interests. They don't have the same passion about the ideology and philosophy, but still they want to build projects. And you have to accept that. You have to accept to kind of working with people who are not that convinced about the philosophy, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's interesting. They are building interesting projects. So it's kind of some people don't like it. In the community, a lot of people who were there in 18, 19, they don't like the mass adoption. They don't like it because they feel that it will make the philosophy disappear. Okay, and it's an internal discussion that we have in the community. Should we remain like underground culture and be really strong with the philosophy and ideology, or should we open up and onboard more people and kind of accept that the ideology is not is kind of dissolved. So this is this is a big question that I have. This is a big question that a lot of people have. But for me, I really think I want to onboard new people. I want to try to convince people. I want to open up. I'm not talking about mass adoption. I'm talking about trying to have people realize that there is an alternative plan for the future, that is different from the GAFAM and everything, and that you can reclaim your privacy, you can reclaim some power. And I'm trying to convince people that it is possible. So, and for me, it's important, because if you don't do that, and if you say, okay, we will keep this technology for ourselves because they cannot understand that, then it's like you have a magic potion and you don't want to share it. So I'm the one who wants to share it. I know this is the magic potion that I have. It is something that can change life. And I want to try and convince people that it can be useful for them. And for that, I need to accept to talk to people who are not as much passionate as I am. But I accept that.
I mean, I absolutely appreciate you saying that you want to grow in this space, not only by yourself, not only with a few close people, but actually to share this alpha, let's put it this way, about Web3 space, about how to be successful in this space, how to collaborate with people. Because all the projects we're going to talk right now, all the projects that you founded, and there are 4 projects. It's Museum of Crypto Art, MoCA. It's NFT Factory Paris that we already discussed. You've been from the beginning. Yes. It's there are acts for RT, so OX Art, and New French Touch. So all of these projects are collaborative. All of these projects are aiming to connect culture with emerging artists and with people in the middle, so that people can come, whether it's in voxel, whether it's in physical place like NFT Factory, people can come, people can get inspired, people can connect with you. And I remember the first opening days of NFT Factory back in October. There were a couple of days for NFT co-founders where I was also invited. There was a day for NFT members, and like later on, maybe half a week after or a week after, there was a public opening for everyone to come. Any people have no idea about Web3, about crypto art, they were coming to ask questions. And I remember you, I remember Ethan Pierce, I remember a couple of other OGs sitting out there and spending your time explaining to people what is Web3, what is Ledger, why crypto art is a big thing right now, how should they start, what can they find in this place. And back then you had only one of your 3 floors open. Right now it's already 2. Another openings that we had a couple of weeks ago back in Paris, but back then it was so small, but people were coming already there, and you were spending your time and your energy to explain to people, which I absolutely appreciate, because I do believe that the only way for us to grow in this space is to grow together, is to learn together, is to point at each other's mistakes and try to fix these mistakes. Because otherwise it's one main game, which will not have any end result for mass adoption, for sustainable growth going long term.
Yeah, that's true. And I love what I love about NFT Factory is that it really have both end of the scope. So we have both a very educated and very specific group of people who are our community, and as you said, our founders and our members. We have 128 founders. They are all entrepreneurs in Web3, so they know everything about Web3. They are experts. They have all the skills and competence and experience in Web3. And then we have our members, 1,000 members, and they are also people who are, who are passionate about Web3. They all have wallets, obviously. And we have this group, our community, which is very educated and specific on Web3. But also we have the general public who are walking in the street and they just see the sign and they come in and they know nothing about it. And we are trying to explain. So this is what I love about this project, NFT Factory. This is why I'm completely, involved in this project and passionate about this project. Is that because it has the two ends of the scope, and it's very interesting. And it's interesting for our partners because when they work with us, they have access to the very specific public, the Web3 ecosystem, but they also have access to the general public, and this is what we offer at NFT Factory. And,
Exactly.
there's a few places in the world who can do that,
Exactly.
So yes, I think it's and also because we are neighbors with the Centre Pompidou, as you said, and this is a neighborhood where it's basically the museum area. We have all the professionals from the art, galleries or people working at Centre Pompidou. They see what we're doing. They are visiting us. They are interested. It's we have met with the people at Pompidou. They come to us. They visit us every time there is a new thing at NFT Factory. They come, they visit, we explain, and they are very interested in what we're doing. So it's also a very great location because we become like partners with the official people in the art, I would say, who are looking at us and they are interested. So it's also another nice thing.
Exactly, and now with the opening of the first floor above the main exhibition, you also have opportunity to bring people for partnership
Yes.
discussions, to bring people
Yes.
to this official, unofficial office environment to
Yes.
co-work together, to interact, engage, and that's like an amazing initiative coming from you, which I absolutely appreciate once again. So huge respect to you.
Thank you.
Coming back to your story, you started the whole movement back, like crypto art movement back in 2018, and the way how you started is by founding Museum of Crypto Art, also known as MoCA. It was
Yes.
more than 4 years ago, and right now that's the main project, the project how people are finding about you, the project how you started it, how you started revolutionizing the crypto art. And one of the biggest projects that you also had there is called New French Touch, also a
Yes.
project that you launched not that long ago. I do believe it was beginning of this 2022, like something
Yes.
around
Yes. Yes.
summertime, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken. And you
Yes.
launched it together with some of the biggest crypto art enthusiasts in the space, because it's run not only by you, but it's run also by Jean-Michel and Gaspar, both coming from Ledger, both responsible for crypto art collection of Ledger, Ledger interaction around art, NFTs, also Artemor, another
Yes.
huge art lover, another huge artist, and the work itself, New French Touch, that's something that a lot of amazing, some of the best artists were working on. Just to name a few among others, Herman, for example, she's I would say, in my opinion, one of two biggest sculptors out there in the space. I
Yes.
know that for sure she's the biggest one based in French, and her work are massive, not only in sense of feelings, but in sense of sizes. They're
Yes. Yes.
meters
Yes.
huge. We also have Nahiko, and Nahiko, for those who don't know, it's an artist, hacker, magician, as
Yes.
some say, who was promoted and loved by Pac back in 2021. And if you go to Nahika's Twitter, you'll see the banner, the screenshot of Pac promoting him back almost like 2 years ago. You have some other amazing people like Tito, Kibo, some emerging artists like Abdullah Bari, and I know that
Yes,
you just had his exhibition not that long ago as well at NFT Factory, one of his art pieces. So it's not
yes,
only about established artists like Nahiko or
yeah,
Bayasan as one of the biggest one out there, but it's also about emerging artists who are coming to the space, people who are young. I mean, people in their 20s who just discovered all this art movement maybe a year,
yeah,
2 years ago, and you're
yes,
supporting them. So I do believe that MoCA, that is the main milestone that, how to put it, that put it the direction of your crypto art and the whole Web3 development. Am I right by saying
yes,
so?
yes, yes. MoCA was the start of everything, and then going forward, there are new projects added up to MoCA, and basically MoCA is also a very intimate, very private project that I run with my wife. It is basically our private collection. You know, we
Mm-hmm.
have built this collection. Now we have maybe 1,000 artworks, and you know we are trying to tell a story about crypto art using our collection in this place, MoCA. And but MoCA for me is not enough because MoCA is kind of in the metaverse, and it's not very easily it's very easily accessible, but people don't know it. So we felt very quickly we felt that we needed more than MoCA to reach out to people. And
Mm-hmm.
it started everything started the new phase, you know, because this first phase from 18 to 21, which
Mm-hmm.
was only like digital. And the physical phase started in December 21, a year ago, when we decided to celebrate the 3-year anniversary of MoCA, and to rent a big place, like a pop-up exhibition in Paris. We rented a very big place, and we had a very big show for 3 days, and everyone, it was free for everyone to join. There was no ticketing, and people would discover this, you know, and it was amazing to see all those people visiting and discovering this. And for us, it was the start of the new phase of in real life phase. And we understand that it is very important to go in real life. And this is when I decided to join John Carp and Jean-Michel Payon in the NFT Factory project, because what I did with MoCA, I could do it one time, but it was too expensive for me alone to do it. So I had to join with other people to create this as a permanent place, because I couldn't do it myself. And this is how I decided to join NFT Factory. And yes, and New French Touch is a bit different. New French Touch is a online gallery. It's a space in SuperRare, and it was, you know, like international contest of you know, because the SuperRare, they cannot handle the artist onboarding anymore. There are too many artists trying to get on SuperRare, and SuperRare, they don't have the resources to address all those artists in the world. So they decided to create spaces so that the spaces can onboard artists locally. And this is what we decided to do with New French Touch. We applied, and I applied, and I decided to build a team. And I said, well, I should just take the best in the business. So I asked for Albertine Meunier, who's a digital artist, French digital artist. And she's an amazing person, and she knows everyone in the digital art in France, because she's been in digital art for a long time. So Albertine Meunier, Lucille Honor-Rivron, who at the time was running the Fauve auction house, and now is the CEO of NFT Factory, and Gaspard, as you said, and Jean-Michel, and Artemore. So it was really the best in the business, and we decided to run this project together. And now we gather every month or so to decide what's the next step. So now, New French Touch, we already made 2 drops. And the third drop will maybe take some more time, because we are all so busy with other projects, you know, that is difficult for us to keep the pace with New French Touch. But still, we will continue, and we will decide how to continue. But for now, we are also busy with other projects that the third drop is kind of taking time. Yeah.
It makes total sense. We've been chatting with you for the last over 30 minutes about some of the most emerging artists in the space. People who are coming, people who have been there for years right now, some of the people with whom you are already working on some of the projects who might join even later than you joined the space, but you are working with them together. Who are some of the most innovative and let's put it this way, uh, uncommon, not standard artists for you in the whole French ecosystem? Someone at whose work you're looking like, wow, that is something unusual. That is something that no one have done before. I already named you Herman, for example. What she's doing, she's creating sculptures of massive sizes, sculptures that have inner meaning, and not that many people are doing this due to many reasons. First of all, they don't have this expertise. Secondly, it's a lot of supplies, a lot of tools are needed to actually
Yes.
create one of this work, and people don't have patience, people don't have time for it. So that's like one of my example, for example, in the French ecosystem. Another can be a Goria, a person who is a famous, well-known musician, DJ in the space, and at the same time, he's creating his generative art collection,
Yes.
like the latest
Yes.
one that dropped together with Ledger collaboration. Even though it's a 10K supply collaboration, in my opinion, when you collect all these pieces, that's like the brightest piece out there. That's like the best one. And when I met him a couple of weeks ago and we were chatting about music and NFTs, he said that for now, he doesn't believe in NFT music NFTs. Even though he's both in music and NFTs, it's still two different things. But he has his own unique approach, how he sees this generative art and how the crypto art, like the whole art space, should be driven further on. So those are some of people that I named, like Xirac, for example. You know that
Yes.
Xirac put his art on the wall. I do believe it was near Bastille, if I'm not mistaken, where you can actually come and scan these faces, and you will get an AR NFT. Also, one of the first innovators who started doing something like this together with Vinny. I know that Vinny was helping him because he's coming from this
Yes.
street culture. So I just help you by naming a couple of those people. Who are some of other people that my listeners coming from Europe, from the US, should be aware of when it comes to French? And don't get me wrong, I understand that there's hundreds of people. If
Yes.
I could name them all, I would take my hour just by listing all of them because I'm a good friend with all of them. I support all of them. But like, who are some of the people that inspire you the most?
Yeah, you have named them basically, but you know, I also I like very much Felix, for instance. I don't know if you met him.
Of course.
He's an architect he's been an architect, but he's now, I think, involved a lot in crypto art, and everything he does, I love. He really understands the values and the core values of crypto, and every time he issues a new piece, I really love it. And I love his spirit also. You know, he has built this small replica of art fair, like, and it's like a small piece, and he give this replica to people who travel with it and take picture of it in all the art shows in the world. So I think Felix is really a great artist and with a great talent. I love also Crypto Clay, who does those little scenes with his clay characters, and he's also very deep into the crypto culture. So I love what he's doing, and he's currently has a drop, you know, with the clay punks, and he uses a very innovative technology, who consists in putting the reference number of the punk into the hash. So there's a technology I'm partner with it's called Scratch Tech. So it's a technology, but technology that will be used by artists that allows to change the image to reach a target hash. So and so it's kind of complex to understand, but it creates a lot of opportunity for artists. And CryptoClay is the first to use this technology. So it's the first PFP collection that is a punk derivative that uses this technology where the artist can change the hash as he wants. So I really like this project. You should look it up, the clay punk. And obviously I like Naiko, but you mentioned him.
I'm looking at Lucia Leonor's profile. I do believe her PFP is a clay punk right now.
Yes, it's a clay punk.
A lot of NFT factory members change their PFP in recent days. Exactly. Like all my Twitter feed is with clay punk, so I'm well aware of what is happening out there.
And of course, you know, there is someone that I love as an artist, and that's Pascal Boyard, because Pascal Boyard is very discreet. So, but he's very also innovative. He always tries to come up with new ideas and make his art evolve, you know, create new mysteries in his art. And I really love everything he does. I know he's working on very interesting projects that will be released soon. So yes, you should definitely follow Pascal Boyard, and he's a natural leader in the space in France also.
Voila, that is the list that our listeners should follow. That is the list of people our listeners should actually know by heart by this day, because I know that you're coming to Rag Radio show later this week, that you're also having New Year's special with them, with my friend Normandy and Whale, who is the host of the only Rag Radio in France, in French language right now. Me as a fellow host of Rag Radio Origins XYZ, actually the show that you joined us last week when we have space with John Clark.
Yes.
Remember? Yeah. I'll be also happy to have you another time at my Rag Radio show when we're going to speak most probably in English. I'm not that fluent in French, at least for now.
I can do English, no problem.
Yeah,
if you accept the French accent, it's okay.
Amazing. I love it. I love it. It brings some romantic piece to it. I really love it. Yeah, and I mean, when my Rag Radio friends, together with Farouk, together with OSF, Ovi, Mando, joined me in Paris for Ledger Open 2 weeks ago, they were actually positively surprised by how big and how strong is the French ecosystem. And I do believe that the love for all the artists that you just mentioned, your passion to educate people and to be a part of bigger community where you don't only teach people, but you also learn from them, because there is still a lot for you to learn, for me to learn in this space. It's basically the reason why you decided to join NFT Factory. And just to give some backstory for people, I know that NFT Factory mainly started thanks to our close friend John Carp, who started his NFT morning shows together with Remy. And back then, they both had almost no idea of crypto space, Web3 space, but they had this curiosity. And by having meetups with, like, as you mentioned, like 8, 10, 15 people at the beginning, somehow in less than a year, it became from like small enthusiastic meetups to bigger idea. What if we have a round of people who will join us as the first investors? Then when we see that there is some value, we're going to bring even more investors, because I know that 128 people, it came in 2 different groups, like the first OGs, like the first supporters, later on supporters. Now you have your members with NFT membership node, and now that is one of a kind physical space in the Web3 ecosystem for people to not only talk about this crypto art and these artists like in general, but actually to come and meet them in person. And I know that thanks to the fact that majority of all NFT Factory is based in Paris, around Paris, even like some people like you nearby NFT Paris, so that's like people can actually come almost as a daily on a daily basis, only also as a work. I know that John Carp right now is filming his NFT morning, like he had the show a bit more than a week ago, together with Luca from Pop, together with Vinny. You are all there together, you're hanging out together, you're growing together, you're educating people. So the question I have, like, there is no question about why you started this space. It's so understandable and should be understandable for everyone listening to you for this last hour. The question I have, whether you ever had any doubts that you're gonna be the art director of the space, because maybe you had too much work
Yeah.
to do back then. Maybe you were not sure whether it should be me or some
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
representative of younger generations. I mean, all these boys and girls in their 20s who understand the computer technology, all this AI, maybe a bit better than you and me. Have you ever had this kind of questions, or you always knew that I've been there from the beginning and I want to continue by evolving this space from this art standpoint?
Well, when I NFT Factory, my first involvement was as a shareholder and
Mm-hmm.
investors. So, okay, so I decided to invest in this project because I believed in this project and the physical part of it. And it was important for me. But then when we build the team and Lucy Leonor becomes the CEO, uh, and we have discussions, shareholders discussions about who we should hire and everything. And I just wanted to do this. I just wanted to do it. I said I want to do it. I know I can do it, and I will be so happy to do it. So I decided that I would kind of step down from other of my activities to allocate a significant amount of time for NFT Factory. So this is what I did. I stepped down from other activities to really increase my available time for NFT Factory, and I wanted to do that, and I felt that I was in the right spot because I knew all those artists. It was important for NFT Factory for the art direction. It was important to be very well connected to the artist, and so we can start very quickly to make drops and make exhibitions. And I had this experience and I have this network. I've been working with maybe more than 200 artists for the last 4 years. I know them very well. They know me. We trust each other. So when I talk to the artist I know, I say I have this project. Do you want to participate? They are okay because they trust me and I trust them. So this was important to start the project. And now we are going to onboard more artists, obviously, but to start the project and be able to make some drops as we did with Crypto Sapin. There's a current sale going on. It was very short notice thing. So we need to work with artists we know, and the artists need to know us to trust us. So it was necessary to have this trust relationship. And above all, I didn't want anyone else to do it because I wanted to do it myself because this is what I love to do. And so I said, Lucie Leonor and John and Jean-Michel, I told them I want to do it. Okay, and this is how it happened.
And I mean, me being an early supporter, even before NFT drop, even before like you had any ideas about physical place, which I know you've been hiding for almost half a year. You've been building out there.
Yes,
Especially Jean-Michel was the one who was sending some sneak peeks on Twitter all
yes.
the time, like, "Hey, that's how it's gonna look. Hey, guess what, etc." Me as a member of NFT Factory, I should say that you're doing amazing. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
as a personality, you as a team, all of us as a family, because building this space by people for people, which is also the slogan of We in Web3 podcast, is the best thing that we can do right now to make sure that the technology that we're using right now will be still relevant and used by billions of people in the next 5-10 years from now. Not only for the smaller group of people who understand it right now, it's good. We already understand it. We need to make sure that we bring more people and we grow together with it. So you're doing amazing, my friend, and I know that
Thank
you're
you.
doing
Thank you.
a lot of work to make sure that you stay at the same level, to make sure that you're up to date with all the trends that are going on in the space. What comes next for you specifically, Benoit, in year 2023? You continue at the role of digital art director at NFT Factory. You continue learning about emerging artists, new spaces, new like trends that are coming to this ecosystem. What else is coming for you? What's next
Yes.
for Benoit in 2023?
Really, I would like to work abroad also. So this is also the other project I'm working on with Tuitienne and Albertine. We are working with other countries to make exhibitions and conferences and workshop in other countries. We did that in New York. We did that in Hong Kong. We did that in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and we had an amazing project also in Africa, and we were in Cameroon, and so we brought all this space to Cameroon. We made an exhibition, crypto art exhibition, conferences, workshop in Cameroon, and the young people from Cameroon, the artists from Cameroon, the art professionals, they came and they discovered everything, and it was really amazing to do that. And we currently have a project with Morocco, and we want to do the same. And we want to onboard people also in countries that are maybe a bit behind in this space. And Morocco and Cameroon, it was an amazing experience to be there and to explain what was going on in France. And we felt that it was inspiring for people locally. And yeah, and for me, it's we want to keep doing this. This is the international part. And for NFT Factory, yeah, we had 4 exhibitions so far, and we are going to have more. And I want to make an exhibitions about generative art. I want to compare, the early generative art from the 70s to what's happening now in NFTs. So I want to make an exhibitions that draw parallels between what happened in the 70s and now for generative art. I want to do a rare PP exhibition, and we're working on
This
a
is a
rare PP.
huge one.
Yes,
I
we
would
are
love to
working on
see this one.
a rare PP festival, in fact, because you mentioned we have Grida, who has her place.
Of
We have
course.
Albertine Meunier, who has her place. There's an NFT Factory. We are working on a project. We hope it can work. We are working on a project maybe at the end of 2023. We want to take time of a festival, Rare PP Festival, where we would have the historic Rare PP show at NFT Factory with our 50 or 60 screens. Then we have maybe a physical artwork PP at Albertine's gallery. And maybe we have an open call for new pieces of Rare PP at EAM with Grida, and we do a festival. And all the world of PP will come to France and Paris and do this festival, and there will be parties. So this is the dream. So this is one of the projects we're working on, and not only NFT Factory, but other people like Grida, like Albertine Meunier. So yes, those are the things that make me, dream and feed my passion.
And I already know a couple of people who will join you as curators, as artists, specifically about her Peppa, because it's like OG of OGs, and
Yes,
you
yes.
having not just an exhibition, but actually some kind of festival, some kind of like day dedicated for it. It's like a big one. So I'm happy to hear it, and I do believe that it's just a matter of time when I invite you back to my podcast or to my Rag Radio show to actually discuss what has happened in your life. It's end of 2022 right now. It's beginning of 2023, and you know that this space is moving as fast as possible. So what would be one thing that you would love to ask your future self in 2023 to reflect on how good are you doing in this space, whether you are still satisfied with what you do. What would be this one question you would ask your future self?
Uh, uh, I would like to ask whether I succeeded in, changing people's mind about um, privacy and the concept of money. I mean, it's for me, it's even wider than just art. Art is just a way to, it's the best, the most beautiful way, the easiest way to explain people what's going on with Web3. This is why we choose at NFT Factory to put art in front, and this is why what I'm doing is important for the whole industry, I think, because art is an easy way to explain people and convince people, and so the question I ask myself in the future is whether I was successful in convincing people, more people,
Mm-hmm.
to try to understand and to understand that there's an alternative technology that can help them and that can change their lives, and this is what it is. The Web3 can change your life if you understand it, if you adopt it correctly, if you implement it correctly. It can change your life, and it can change your life for the better.
And I do believe that is the best type of question you can ask yourself, because it actually shows that you generously care about other people and the space in general.
Yes.
It's not only about you, your success, your journey, but it's about all people around you. And whatever you do with NFT Factory, whatever you did with MoCA when you launched it back in 2018, whatever you're gonna do later on, I know that it will be all about people, all around community around you, which I personally respect a lot. I personally
Thank you.
respect a
Thank you.
lot what you do, and people like you who are putting the interest of others above yourself. That's an amazing thing to hear. And yeah, the last thing for today is actually here at We in Web3, we have a tradition. At the end of each episode, and today we have a New Year special episode, the last episode of 2022. I'm asking my guests to imagine a situation. When you are stuck in an elevator for the next 15 to 20 seconds with some general audience, people from Web2 who have no idea what is crypto, what is digital identity, what are NFTs. And in the next 15 to 20 seconds, you need to explain to those people why Web3 space is the future. You already covered the topic of digital identity. You already covered the topic of crypto art being one of the way to show them how successful is the space and what is happening here. But I would love to hear from you. What does this Web3 means for you, and why Web3 that's the future? Why people should start learning about everything related to Web3 already
Yes.
right now?
Yeah, maybe we are at the end of an era. We are at the end of an era of centralization and surveillance capitalism. And maybe people will start to realize that we've gone too far in this, and then we've lost too much of our privacy and freedom. And there's an exit route. There's an alternative space where it provides you a way to exit this, or to
Mm-hmm.
try to build something outside this. And this is Web3. And it's very simple, and everyone can use it. It's very simple, everyone can use it. But some people don't like it, because those are the people who are into this surveillance capitalism. And all this system is trying to convince not to go there. So just do your own research and try to investigate, and I will let you discover everything, and it could change your life.
Here's how it works, but if you want to learn more about it, do the research yourself. Learn
Yes.
yourself. The space is extremely versatile, starting from DAOs, going deeper into digital identity and security, trading, investing into crypto, NFTs, etc. So just enjoy yourself. That's basically the best things that the best way to end this year 2022, saying that maybe centralization, that's not the way. Maybe there is an other way that people will start learning about very, very soon. And we're already here at the beginning of this new era. So
Yes,
let's build this era together. Let's onboard more people to learn about it and see whether it's actually the way to move forward.
exactly.
Benoit, my
Yeah.
friend, I had nothing but pleasure chatting with you today. I frankly believed before this episode that I knew everything about French ecosystem, about NFT Paris, but still there are some things, some personal things, some emotions, feelings that you shared today with me that made me even more bullish on all the people that I know in the French ecosystem, people who are building this new digital ecosystem together with you, together with me, and I want to thank you for the 10th time during today's episode for everything that you're doing. Because without your passion, without your determination, without you being the person that people admire, you being the person that people actually look up to and want to grow together with you, there won't be that many artists, there won't be that many
Yes,
Web3 enthusiasts. What you are doing right now, and you doing it while enjoying it, not just doing and working hard every day and being exhausted, but I've never seen you tired, even though I've been at every event till very late nights, like till 2, 3, 4 a.m. when we're taking all the screens for exhibitions to drive them back
that's
to
true.
the main office. I've been there with you all the time, and you've never been tired. You're always smiling. You're always open for discussion. You're always out there with your wife who is supporting you, who you are supporting. You're always with your friends, with your family who are surrounding you, including me, because we all respect you. We all love what you're doing. So nothing but respect, my friend. You're doing it
Thank
amazing.
you.
And in this new year, 2023, I want you to never lose your passion, because when you have
Yes,
this passion, when you have this curiosity to learn more and to dive deeper, that's where everything starts. So if you have this one, I know that you're going to be successful, you're going to be active, you're going to be doing what you enjoy for the rest of your life. And that is very important.
yes, yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind words. Just my last words from me. An advice to people: don't follow gurus. You know, I'm trying to avoid gurus. There are a lot of gurus in the crypto space, and there's always they are always disappointing at one point. You know, when you look at SBF, everyone was looking up to him. He was like a guru, and now we find out he's a crook. So be careful with gurus. And Web3 is decentralization is not a space where we all gather around one person. So keep that in mind.
Become your own guru. Let's put it
Yes,
this way.
exactly.
Become as good that you
Exactly.
consider yourself as a guru, and you grow from yourself together with other people. Thank you
Yes.
very much for coming today. I wish you nothing but a wonderful celebration of New Year with your family, which is coming in a couple of days. And
Yes.
I see you in the new 2023, my friend. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Same. Thank you very much. Bye bye.